Hello everybody. Today I've decided to take you through character creation for the 1980s role-playing game, Marvel Superheroes. This game came out in the early 80s, mid-80s, and then they stopped it in the late 80s. It's a great game. It's by far and away the most fun I've ever had making a character. Character creation in this is completely random, except for essentially coming up with a name and deciding if your superhero identity is public or secret. A couple of the books here have seen better days, but keep in mind they're over 30 years old. The game is completely percentile. Here's a quick look at the character sheet. We're going to roll for all our stats: fighting, agility, strength, endurance, reason, intuition, and psyche. We're going to roll for our powers. We're going to roll for our talents. We're going to roll for our, what do we got up here? Roll for resources, what kind of coin we have. We'll determine our popularity. So let's get to it. Before our first roll though, I'm just going to show you what this whole game is based on. It's based on this table here. Percentile. This is the result you roll, and these color portions of the charts determine your level of success. So for example, if you have excellent fighting and you're going to punch someone, you would roll on this table. And if you rolled a white, it's a miss. A green, it'd be a hit. A yellow, a better hit. And then a red, a kind of a superior hit. So at the top portion of the chart here, it shows you a whole bunch of different types of attacks you can make. So for example, if you were going to shoot someone with let's say your character has an energy bolt power. So you fire your energy bolt, it's based off your agility. And so you'd roll on your agility. Depending on what your agility is, you'd roll on the table. And if you rolled a white result, it's a miss. You rolled a green, it's a hit. A yellow, a bullseye result. And then a red is a kill result. So as we roll for our stats, you will then see just how good your results are based on this table. And I'll show you a couple of characters, pre-made characters that already exist, characters we all know and love, and we will compare it to our current hero and his results just so you get an idea. So let's begin now actually rolling for our stats. Let's get into the player's book here. So the first ability we're going to roll for is fighting. So what is fighting? Here it is here in the player's book. A measure of raw combat ability used to determine if the character lands a blow in hand-to-hand, called slugfest combat. Used to determine if a character evades a blunt attack. Used to determine if a multiple combat attack or other feat involving hand-to-hand combat is successful. Used to determine the secondary ability known as health. So actually the first step is to, just before we roll for our stats, we are going to determine what race we are. Are we our origin, they call it. Whether you're altered human, you're a mutant, high tech, a robot, or an alien. And then that will help us to see which chart we roll on for our stats. So let's roll it up here. A 1. We are an altered human. Alright, I've written down altered human. I've written that down here in the character's name portion, as it doesn't have its own place to put it. So when we determine our name, that will go here. And then our origin right there, altered human. So now rolling for our stats, fighting, agility, strength, etc. We will roll on the altered human's chart. So here, 1 through 5, feeble, etc., etc. So let's get to that. So the first stat we're rolling for is our fighting ability. Let's roll. 66. Altered human's chart, 66 is remarkable. Alright, fighting, remarkable. I use the abbreviated RM, and that is worth 30 points, remarkable. So if we have a look at our chart, shift 0, feeble, poor, typical good, excellent, remarkable. So let's go to the judge's book real quick and take a look at a character that would have remarkable fighting, give you an idea. So here's Spider-Man stats. His fighting is remarkable, actually, just to give you an idea. Now for our next stat is agility. Rolled a 67. That might be remarkable again. Altered humans, 67 is remarkable again. So 30 Once again, written down beside agility, and that is worth 30 points. So for comparison, remarkable agility, Wolverine actually has a remarkable agility. So I can fight as good as Spider-Man, and I'm as fast as Wolverine. Okay, next stat we roll for is strength. 31, which is a good strength. We've written that down here, and good is worth 10 points. For reference, Nick Fury has good strength. If I was to punch someone, I would do 10 points of damage, assuming they didn't have any body armor. Also, Hawkeye has good strength as well. There's Nick Fury, Doctor Strange, Hawkeye. Next we roll for endurance. There's that magical sound. 97. Ooh, 97. Okay, let's see what that is. 97 is amazing. So amazing endurance. Let's go back to our chart here. Shift 0. There's our strength, falls on that column. Good. Remarkable. It's for fighting and agility. And then amazing, which is the highest you can roll on this column for the altered humans. And mutants column 2 as well, actually. And that's worth 50. There it is. Amazing. Abbreviated AM. And that's worth 50 points. And just to quickly mention, these points here, you actually add up the fighting, agility, strength, and endurance to get to what our health is. So our health is going to be 80, 90, 110, 120. So write that down right here. 120 health for this character so far. Now, let's figure out the reason, intuition, and psyche. So the brains. How smart is this character? 84. Pretty smart. 84, incredible. So reason, IN, incredible, that's worth 40 points. That's pretty good, pretty smart. Now for intuition, 24. So that would be good. So add an incredible reason, this character would be comparable to the intelligence of Magneto. Actually also for intuition as well. So let's just go over the definitions real quick. So reason is just a measure of intelligence and the capacity for logical thought, used to determine the character's success in building things, used to determine the character's success in understanding unknown technology and languages. And then for intuition, defined as a measure of wisdom, wits, common sense, and battle reflexes, used to discover clues, used to determine who may act first in combat as well. Now for our final stat, psyche. 26. So 26 is good. So psyche's definition would be a measure of mental strength and willpower, used to show a resistance to mental and will dominating attacks, used to determine resistance to magical attacks, used to determine initial magical abilities for those characters who wield magic. So Doctor Strange would have a high psyche, for example. This character here has good, which could be comparable to a Wasp. Wasp has good psyche. Vindicator. Oh, what else do we have here? Dr. Doom has an amazing psyche. Oh, printing error in the book. Doesn't have the AM. But it's just, you see the 50. The Crimson Dynamo. He has a good psyche. That was a song by Paul McCartney for any of you Paul McCartney fans out there. I promise not to do that again this video. So we've rolled for all this available abilities. Psyche, intuition, and reason now. So we got to tally up these. Incredible 40, good 10, which is 50, and the other good is 60. So that determines our karma. So we have a 60 karma. And I'll read to you what karma. I'll go over that quickly. Karma, used by the hero as a measure of experience, allowing the hero to perform actions that may otherwise be impossible. So this doesn't actually get a rank. Starting karma is determined when the character is created by the sum of the initial rank numbers of the character's reason, intuition, and psyche, which we just did. And it's also, you gain karma through performing heroic and basically honorable acts. So you can lose karma throughout the game as well, lost through performing selfish, harmful, or dishonorable acts. And you can use your karma as well, you can spend it to help assist you on rolls. So maybe spent by the player character to perform actions otherwise impossible or unlikely. These include modifying die rolls, staying alive, building things. So let's say the GM tells this character they have to dodge and we've determined that this character's agility is remarkable. So the GM calls the judge, in this game, they're called a judge, asks for a roll on your agility to dodge say a crane is falling, it's going to hit the character. So you have the end, the judge wants a green result. So we determined that the agility is remarkable, so we have to roll on this column. And I realize here that the character is going to need at least a roll of a 36 through 40 to get a green result. So I might say, well, I'm going to use 15 karma. So I'd roll the dice, 91. Well, I didn't need to use the karma, but I still remove it from my karma pool just to give you a boost to your rolls. Then I'd be down to 45 karma in this example, so I'd have 45 left to spend. Now for popularity. Popularity, the initial popularity is 10 for most heroes, 0 for mutants and robots. So what's going to happen here? So it's 10. So it's an altered human, this character, so it's 10. Raise popularity by 10 if identity is publicly known. It is going to be publicly known, so let's put that down here right now. Just check mark that. Lower popularity by 5 if identity is secret. No, we determine it's public. Lower popularity by 5 if hero hangs out with known mutants but is not a mutant. Then lower popularity by 5 if hero is generally unpopular. Well, that's not the case here. So the total for popularity for this character is 20. 10 for the initial value given, and then 10 more because the identity of this superhero is public. Now, popularity is like your charisma stat in like Dungeons and Dragons or something. It's used to convince people of something. You're trying to get someone on your side. How it works is you determine the number you have, in this case the popularity of 20, so if that falls between excellent and remarkable, it's not 30 or above, so it's not remarkable, so you would roll on the excellent column. So let's say you're trying to get someone to join you, but they're a little standoffish. The judge might request a popularity roll. And let's say the judge wants a green result, so you roll on the excellent table in this case. Now popularity can also go up and down depending on some of your actions. If you turn into a bad guy, a lot of the villains in the game, they have negative popularity. Popularity is also the general public perception of you as well. Now we'll look at resources. So this is kind of our level of wealth. The analogy I heard best for it would be like your credit rating. So when you want to buy stuff, this is what we deal with, resources. So where do we have it here? Generating resources. Initial resources are typical. So remember our chart here. Where is it? There. Typical. Modified by a roll on the ability modification table. And here is the ability modifier table. So let's roll here and see what any shifts we get to indicate our resources. 19. 19 on the table. Remain unchanged. So we stay at typical. Typical. Now we come to the generating special abilities. We roll for the number of powers we have. Okay, so we roll the dice here and determine how many powers we have. 28. 3 powers. And I marked it down here, 3 powers, just to remind us when we get to the point we actually start rolling for them. Because now we're going to do talents. 58. 58. We have 2 talents. And I wrote that down right here, 2 talents. Now for contacts. A 96. Okay, 96 is 3 contacts. 3 contacts. So let's roll for some powers now. This is the fun part. So here we are. Here are all the different powers, all the different tables. And just like everything else in this game, it is all random. So let's do this. First thing we have to roll on is the power categories table. First power. 92. 92. Body alterations defense. Let's go to that table. Here it is. A 3. Body armor. So to see how powerful this body armor is, we have to roll on the table 4. So let's see how thick this armor is. 22. Good body armor. All right, first power, body armor, good, and it's thick skin. I got a choice of what it is, whether it's actual some kind of armor or if I have thicker skin, I'll make it thick skin. So that means if an attack, whether it's with a blunt weapon or a sharp weapon or energy weapon, if they hit, this will knock down 10 points of that damage. So let's say someone's blasting you with an energy blast that does 20 points of damage. It does excellent damage, which is 20. Well, you'd knock off 10. So that means this character would only take 10 damage. Second power, 28. 28, energy control. All right, a 1 on the energy control table. Magnetic manipulation. Now we roll to see how powerful this magnetic manipulation power is. 65 on table 4. Remarkable. And we've written that down right here. Magnetic manipulation at remarkable. And the last power for this character, 65. 65, distance attacks. All right, distance attack table, a 10. Dark Force Generation. Okay, to roll for how powerful this Dark Force Generation is. It sounds really evil. So let's see here. 85. 85. Column 4. Incredible. Okay, so that concludes powers. 1, 2, 3, body armor, magnetic manipulation, and dark force generation. Now off to talents. And we roll again. Let's find out what sort of talent we have. First, 52. That is professional skills. So let's go to that table. 7. Okay, on the professional skills, 7. Crime. And I've marked that here. And you don't roll a power level for talents. Talents just actually would give you a column shift. So let's say you're researching something about crime and it was reason-based. So the reason this character has is incredible, but because I have a talent in crime, understanding crime, it would then be incredible for any rolls. So it would give me a column shift. Sorry, correction, column shift, not incredible, would be amazing. Talent number 2. 10. 10. Weapon skills. Let's roll it up. 7. 7. Blunt weapons. All right, we've marked that down, blunt weapons. And once again, like I was saying about talents, it would give you a column shift. So this character has remarkable fighting, but with any blunt weapons, if I was using club or a hammer, I mean, many weapons aren't sharp, essentially, it would be incredible fighting. Because as you can see here, remarkable is the fighting this character has. 1 column shift up is incredible. And that's all for talents. Now to friends, relatives, contacts. And we rolled 3 contacts. Now you really get to choose contacts for the most part. There's a couple little minor rules for it, but all in all, it kind of hints at associating your contacts in regards to your talents. So maybe we can have someone in the crime field, or we have blunt weapons as well, so maybe someone who's a martial artist or something. So with that sort of train of thought, I figure, well, the resources of this player is typical, so let's say a typical professional job, let's say this character is an accountant. And for contacts, I put Kingpin for the first contact because of my knowledge of crime. Maybe my character has done some accounting work with Kingpin, you know, kind of keep your friends close but your enemies closer kind of thing. So on top of that, I also I made up a photojournalist. I'm friends with somebody by the name of Peter Parker, just a regular dude. And also, actually, Peter Parker's boss, a publisher. That's my third contact, someone by the name of J. Jonah Jameson. So you can really get an idea of how when you get to this point with creating the contacts of the character, how it kind of really fleshes them out a bit, and it gives you a good feel for the character's backstory. an idea of what their life is day to day. So now that we've completed that portion, it's time to fill in the blanks here. So you can really get an idea of how you, when you get to this point with creating the contacts of the character, how it kind of really fleshes them out a bit, and it gives you a good feel for the character's backstory, an idea of what their life is day to day. So now that we've completed that portion, it's time to fill in the blanks here. We'll make the character 24 years of age. Mentioned earlier, the occupation, an accountant, based out of Toronto, Canada. Any group affiliation? None. So when it comes to naming a superhero, I kind of like to think that you should maybe, there should be some sort of relationship between the powers and the name that you come up with. So if we look at the powers here, body armor, okay, not much to consider there, I think, for a name. There's magnetic manipulation, so it can attract steel, move steel around. Okay, got that in mind now. Dark force generation, so it can call forth like the dark dimension and use it to its advantage. Dark, magnetic. So after some careful deliberation, I've come up with the name Lodestone. So there we have it, Lodestone. His real name is Mark Izak, altered human, accountant, 24 years of age. Those are his powers, they're his talents. And that's really all there is to creating a character for this game. So I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching, everybody. Bye-bye for now.